All right, today was the final night of the DNC, Kamala Harris's acceptance speech. This was, hands down, the best speech she's ever given. It was electric. I'm going to take you through a couple of what I saw were the most important points, things really relevant to the way the convention is played out with the uncommitted delegates. Palestine, she made a statement about Israel. She put a lot in there in a very short amount of time. The thing that impressed me most was her confidence, her focus. Kamala did not mince any words. She was very clear about where she stands, how she wants to unify the party in this election, and what it means to be with her. Man, it was a doozy. So you got to remember, everyone's included, but the thing she made clear is she will not be blackmailed, and she is not going to sacrifice her vision for the American public as a whole to just appease any one group. She's going to win. She's going to win it her way. Man, it was impressive. The first part was her entrance. Then she went into a little bit of storytelling about where she came from, about her mom, which led up to her acceptance of the nomination. And it was moving. Let's watch.
Please welcome the Democratic nominee for president, Vice President of the United States of America, Kamala Harris.
That is wild, bro. Yeah. I mean, dude, I love Joe Biden, but homie was not going to compete with this, dude.
Okay, we got to get to some business.
Even on his best day, dude.
Okay.
Joe Biden wasn't going to be able to compete with this.
Thank you. Okay, let's get to business. Let's get to business. All right. So let me start by thanking my most incredible husband, Doug.
Yeah, all the flags out there is really good to see. Let's go, Dougie!
For being an incredible partner to me, an incredible father to Cole and Ella, and happy anniversary, Dougie.
Oh, shit! Dude!
I love you so very much.
Trump could never, bro.
To our president, Joe Biden.
Yeah.
When I think about the path that we have traveled together, Joe, I am filled with gratitude. Your record is extraordinary, as history will show, and your character is inspiring. And Doug and I love you and Jill and are forever thankful to you both.
Dude, Joe's got a country to run, and he's a little pissed.
And to Coach
He's
Tim
got some hurt
Walz,
feelings, which we get. Right? I get it. But that's all right. He's got a country to run.
You are going to be an incredible vice president.
Yeah, he is. Dude, I love him. He's an emotional guy.
And to the delegates and everyone who has put your faith in our campaign, your support is humbling. So, America, the path that led me here in recent weeks was no doubt unexpected.
Yeah.
But I'm no stranger to unlikely journeys. My mother was a brilliant, 5-foot-tall, brown woman with an accent. And as the eldest child, I saw how the world would sometimes treat her. But my mother never lost her cool. She was tough, courageous, a trailblazer in the fight for women's health.
Let's go.
And she taught Maya and me a lesson that Michelle mentioned the other night. She taught us to never complain about injustice, but do something about it.
It's a big deal, baby.
Do something about it.
You got to do something about it.
That was my mother. And she taught us, and she also taught us, and never do anything half-assed. And that is a direct quote.
That's a big one. Dude, that's my personal philosophy. Is don't do shit half-assed, bro.
I grew up immersed in the ideals of the civil rights movement.
You go balls to the wall.
My parents had met at a civil rights gathering, and they made sure that we learned about civil rights leaders, including the lawyers like Thurgood Marshall and Constance Baker Motley. Those who battled in the courtroom to make real the promise of America. So at a young age, I decided I wanted to do that work. I wanted to be a lawyer. And to be clear, my entire career, I've only had one client, the people. And so, on behalf of the people,
it's good stuff.
On behalf of every American, regardless of party, race, gender, or the language your grandmother speaks, on behalf of my mother and everyone who has ever set out on their own unlikely journey, on behalf of Americans like the people I grew up with, people who work hard, chase their dreams, and look out for one another, on behalf of everyone whose story could only be written in the greatest nation on earth, I accept your nomination to be President of the United States of America.
Yeah, that was some good shit right there, bro. I'm crying. Dude, I am crying right there.
And with this election...
God damn! Is that moving or what? Oh my God, that hit me. The way she accepted the nomination, that just hit me. Her tone was perfect. Throughout this speech, her tone was pitch perfect. I cannot remember the last time I saw a response like that to a candidate coming in. I had to trim the hell out of that intro because that applause literally went on for more than 5 minutes. It was insane. She started obliquely sort of referencing Trump without calling him out by name, which I thought was a really nice touch because it was a way of not making this whole speech, this whole election be about him. But then she did get in the nitty-gritty and outlined exactly what we have to lose should Trump get elected. And this is when she really started to pick up steam.
From the courthouse to the White House, that has been my life's work.
Yeah. Let's go.
As a young courtroom prosecutor in Oakland, California, I stood up for women and children against predators who abuse them. As Attorney General of California, I took on the big banks, delivered $20 billion for middle-class families who faced foreclosure, and helped pass a homeowner Bill of Rights, one of the first of its kind in the nation. I stood up for veterans and students being scammed by big for-profit colleges, for workers who are being cheated out of their wages, the wages they were due.
Yeah.
For seniors,
there you go. For the workers.
Elder abuse.
Dude, she is. She's so like laser focused.
Traffic in guns and drugs and human beings.
Yeah.
Who threaten the security of our border and the safety of our communities. And I will tell you, these fights were not easy. And neither were the elections that put me in those offices. We were underestimated at practically every turn. But we never gave up, because the future is always worth fighting for.
Here, here. Let's go. Dude, that's so true. The future.
We are in right now. We ain't fight for America's future.
We ain't going back, bro. I don't go backwards, only forward.
Fellow Americans, this election is not only the most important of our lives, it is one of the most important in the life of our nation.
She ain't wrong. It's a generation of Supreme Court activity.
In many ways, Donald Trump is an unserious man.
That's the first mention of Trump, bro.
But the consequences...
Let's go.
But the consequences of putting Donald Trump back in the White House are extremely serious.
Yeah. Dude, we could end up with RFK Jr. as the
Consider-
CIA director.
Consider not
What?
only the chaos and calamity when he was in office, but also the gravity of what has happened since he lost the last election.
Yeah.
Donald Trump tried to throw away your votes. When he
Yeah.
failed,
81 million
he sent an
people.
armed
He
mob
tried to f- over.
to the United States Capitol, where they assaulted law enforcement officers. When politicians in his own party begged him to call off the mob and send help, he did the opposite. He fanned the flames.
Tried to hang his
And
VP,
now,
bro.
For an entirely different set of crimes, he was found guilty of fraud by a jury of everyday Americans and separately found liable for committing sexual abuse. And consider what he intends to do if we give him power again. Consider his explicit intent to set free violent extremists who assaulted
The
those law
J6ers.
enforcement officers at the Capitol.
Nah.
His explicit
Dude, he was
intent
having a party
to
for those
jail
MFers, bro.
journalists, political opponents, and anyone he sees as the enemy. His explicit intent to deploy our active duty military against our own citizens. Consider the power he will have, especially after the United States Supreme Court just ruled that he would be immune from criminal prosecution.
Yeah, that's wild, bro.
Just imagine Donald Trump with no guardrails.
Jesus. Yeah.
And
it's
how
a fucking
he
disaster
would
of
use the
epic
immense
proportions.
powers of the presidency of the United States. Not to improve your life, not to strengthen our national security,
Nah.
but to serve the only client he has ever had, himself.
Oh! The only client
And
he
we
has
know-
ever had.
And we know what a second Trump term would look like. It's all laid out in Project 2025, written by his closest advisors. And its sum total is to pull our country back to the past. But America, we are not going back.
No, we are
We
not.
are not going back.
Let's
We
go.
are not going back.
Look
We
at
are
Gabby.
not going back to when Donald
We're not
Trump
going back. We're
tried
not
to
going
cut
back.
Social
We're not
Security
going
and
back. We're not
Medicare.
going back.
We are not going back to when he tried
go.
to get rid of the Affordable Care
Let's get
Act,
hyped.
when insurance companies could deny people with pre-existing conditions. We are not going to let him eliminate the Department of Education that funds our public schools.
Let's go.
We are not going to let him end programs like Head Start that provide preschool and child care
Yes.
for our children.
Quit fucking
America,
over
we are not
kids.
going back.
We're not going back to the 1950s, Trumpy.
And we are charting a new way forward.
Forward.
Forward. To
Forward.
a future.
It's a good word, man.
With a strong and growing middle class, because we know a strong middle class has always been critical to America's success. And building that middle class will be a defining goal of my presidency.
Let's go. Dude, I believe her, bro. I
And I'll
believe
tell
she's
you,
down
this
for the
is
fight,
personal
dude.
for me.
I think she hit all those points spot on. Then, after calling out Trump, she switched gears and went into the specifics of her agenda. She laid everything out, which I thought these 2 points were really critical ones that sum up the defining points of this election. her opportunity economy, and abortion. And she nailed it.
That's why we will create what I call an opportunity economy where everyone has the chance to compete and a chance to succeed.
Let's go!
Whether you live in a rural area, small town, or big city. And as president, I will bring together labor and workers and small business owners and entrepreneurs and American companies to create jobs, to grow our economy, and to lower the cost of everyday needs like health care and housing and groceries. We will provide access to capital for small business owners and entrepreneurs and founders. And we will end America's housing shortage.
Let's go.
And protect Social Security and Medicare.
Let's get those hedge funds out of there. That's what I want to see, dude. I want to see corporations out of the housing market.
And let's be clear about how we got here. Donald Trump handpicked members of the United States Supreme Court to take away reproductive freedom. And now he brags about it.
He does, and he lies about it, too.
Quote, I did it, and I'm proud to have done it, end quote. Well, I'll tell you, over the past 2 years, I've traveled across our country, and women have told me their stories.
Nobody wanted that, bro.
Husbands and fathers have shared theirs.
Except evangelical wingnuts.
Women miscarrying in a parking lot.
Dude, it's bad.
Developing sepsis, losing the ability to ever again have children, all because doctors are afraid they may go to jail for caring for their patients.
That's so messed up, bro.
Couples just trying to grow their family, cut off in the middle of IVF treatments. Children who have survived sexual assault, potentially being forced to carry a pregnancy to term.
Yeah, dude.
This is what's happening in our country.
It's beyond the pale, bro.
And understand, he is not done.
No.
As a part of his agenda, he and his allies would limit access to birth control, ban medication abortion, and enact a nationwide abortion ban with or without Congress.
And you know it.
And get this.
You know they're after it. You know it.
He plans to create a national anti-abortion coordinator and force states
it's like a woman
to
hunter.
report on women's miscarriages and abortions.
Dude. Who do you think they're going to prosecute, too?
They are out of their minds.
Yeah. Let's go! That's true! They are out of their goddamn minds!
One must ask, why exactly is it that they don't trust women? Well, we trust women. We trust women. And when Congress passes a bill to restore reproductive freedom, as President of the United States, I will proudly sign it into law.
Let's go! Now she was cooking, and she saved the biggest point for last. After talking a little bit about the importance of the military and her plans for the border, she launched into the critical crescendo of global foreign policy. And this was my favorite part. Obviously, there's been an uproar about the Palestinian protests, Middle East, and Gaza. It's been a huge sort of factioning episode in the Democratic Party, with the far left applying all kinds of pressure and a lot of portrayals from both the far left and the Trump campaign. And this is where Kamala came in strong. She laid out in no uncertain terms exactly where she stands. And I thought it was brilliant.
I helped mobilize a global response over 50 countries to defend against Putin's aggression. And as President, I will stand strong with Ukraine and our NATO allies.
Let's go, let's go! Dude, she's not gonna kiss Putin's ass. Hey, it's Ben Stiller.
With respect to the war in Gaza, President Biden and I are working around the clock because now is the time to get a hostage deal and a ceasefire deal done.
There you go! Let's go!
And let me be clear, I will always stand up for Israel's right to defend itself, and I will always ensure Israel has the ability to defend itself, because the people of Israel must never again face the horror that a terrorist organization called Hamas caused on October 7.
She's being very clear there.
Unspeakable sexual violence and the massacre of young people at a music festival.
Yeah, that was some bullshit, bro.
At the same time, what has happened in Gaza over the past 10 months is devastating. So many innocent lives lost. Desperate, hungry people fleeing for safety over and over again. The scale of suffering is heartbreaking. President Biden and I are working to end this war such that Israel is secure, the hostages are released, the suffering in Gaza ends, and the Palestinian people can realize their right to dignity, security, freedom, and self-determination.
There you go! I think that was pretty fucking clear right there, bro. She is not going to turn her back on Israel. And
I will never hesitate to take whatever action is necessary to defend our forces and our interests against Iran and Iran-backed terrorists. I will not cozy up to tyrants and dictators like Kim Jong-un who are rooting for Trump.
Yeah, let's go.
Rooting for Trump.
Dude, she's bringing out the fucking balls, bro.
They know he is easy to manipulate with flattery and favors.
Yeah, easy.
They know Trump won't hold autocrats accountable because he wants to be an autocrat himself.
Yes.
And as president, I will never waver in defense of America's security and ideals, because in the enduring struggle between democracy and tyranny, I know where I stand, and I know where the United States belongs.
Dude, look at Gavin, dude. He's misty, bro. He is. He's misty. You can see him.
Fellow Americans, I love our country with all my heart. Everywhere I go, in everyone I meet, I see a nation that is ready to move forward, ready for the next step in the incredible journey that is America. I see an America where we hold fast to the fearless belief that built our nation and inspired the world, that here in this country, anything is possible, that nothing is out of reach. An America where we care for one another, look out for one another, and recognize that we have so much more in common than what separates us.
Yeah, I agree with that, bro.
That none of us has to fail for all of us to succeed. And that in unity there is strength. You know, our opponents in this race are out there every day denigrating America, talking about how terrible everything is. Well, my mother had another lesson she used to teach. Never let anyone tell you who you are. You show them who you are.
Let's go, baby!
America,
Let's go!
let us show each other and the world who we are. We must be worthy of this moment. It is now our turn to do what generations before us have done, guided by optimism and faith.
Optimism.
To fight
It's important.
for this country we love, to fight for the ideals we cherish, and to uphold the awesome responsibility that comes with the greatest privilege on earth, the privilege and pride of being an American. So let's get out there, let's fight for it, let's get out there, let's vote for it, and together, let us write the next great chapter in the most extraordinary story ever told. Thank you. God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you all.
Let's go! Let's go! There it is. The mystery is over. Kamala clearly laid out her entire agenda, how she stood on all the major points of American policy. She did it in record time. And then she just wrapped it up with that compassion and love that we absolutely adore. I'm telling you, this was one of the best political speeches I've seen in a long, long time, and I have never been more hyped to be a Democrat. This convention was just incredible. Made me so proud. Proud to back her. Let's go. Kamala Tim, baby. 2024. Let's get it. Trumpism ends now.